welcome to another episode of Low Gear, and with me is Josh De Jong. How do you do?
Good, thank you.
Now, you're 97.
Yeah, I'll be 98 in September.
And you told me before you were going to go for you have to renew your license periodically as we go past 70.
Every 2 years, yes.
And so if you're past this one, you'll take you through to 100.
That's right. That's right, yes. Yes.
So when were you born? 1920?
1919.
1919.
It's September 1919.
And so you've come through the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, and 60s. And when did you sort of stop working?
74.
74?
Yes, 74, because we went to Auckland in 74. My wife said to me one day, she said, if you don't get off the farm, the boys will, because your ways are different to theirs.
Oh, okay. So
we transferred the farm to them, and we went to live in Harbour Road, Mission Bay.
And so you were considered old school.
Yeah, old school, yes, yes. Yeah.
Now coming through to the 30s, do you remember growing up? Where did you actually grow up?
All around Mangatagi, Maramura, Bombay, Pukekohe. We used to go to, there was dances you could go to, you know, once or twice a month. And
is that where you met your wife, at a dance?
No, I didn't meet my wife at a dance. When we were carting cream, her father used to milk 2 cows, and he had a little cream can, a gallon cream can, and he used to put it out. And this Sunday I was doing the driving, because the driver had the day off, and I went to pick up the cream can. This is what I say, and there was a queen bee sitting on the can, and I picked it up, and the queen bee flew into the cab of the truck, and it went. I tried to get it out, but it wouldn't go out, and it went all the way to Tuakau and back.
Wow! And
when I got to the gate, it flew out, and that's how I met my wife.
Okay. So it wasn't Queen Bee for short, was she?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So was your father a carrier?
No, he was a farmer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He was born in Cox's Creek in Auckland in 1980 something.
1880.
And he had no schooling. He didn't like schooling, and he went into J.J. Craig and Winston's.
Wow.
And used to help with the horses, the draft horses. There used to be a bus go up Wellesley Street, and the bus was always 3 horses abreast, and they had to put the 2 leaders on to go up to the top, hook up, take the bus up, and bring the 2 leaders back ready for the next bus. He came down to Pukekohe here, and he used to deliver meat for Brown the butcher on horseback. He used to put the pea cow over the wither and put the meat in and out to
Wow.
And then him and Mr. Keith from Wairanga, they loved their horses and drays, and they put the first metal on the Klondike Road out at over here, is it, or Glen Murray up there? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, previous to that, it was just mud.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. He rented a property from St John's College in Meadowbank there. It was called West Tamaki then. I was born at the house there. Anyway, he rented this property. He used to milk about 30 cows, and they stand the milk in water all day, and at night they would do the afternoon milking, and then he had 3 horses abreast in a covered wagon, and he used to take his milk and 2 neighbours into Newmarket every night, and get home about 10:30 at night, feed the horses, and be ready for the next day.
Wow.
And then I was born there, and I went to school at St Heliers in Keys's bus. The 3 a day was the fare to go to school.
3.
Three.
There and back.
yeah, there and back, yeah. I think it was 1928. Dad shifted to Manurewa, it was Alveston Road in Manurewa, and I finished my schooling at Manurewa. And he was milking on a farm there, and he had the single-tire Dennis truck, and he used to cart milk from different farmers, and Sir Ernest Davis's farm at Takanini, and Kempton Brothers down at Mahia. He used to cart that. Stonix's had a depot in Papatoe, and every evening, yeah. And then he came down to Kaiawa with the horses and drays. Took 3 days to come down.
Wow.
And that's how he started. That's how I started.
Right. So did you enjoy school, or you couldn't wait to get away from the place?
I didn't like. No, I wasn't a good reader, and some I couldn't do maths or anything. But I loved my football and sport and yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah.
So when you left school, did you just go and work on the farm or help your father?
The day after we sat for our down 6th exam, I was down at the farm. I was 12.
Wow.
It was 1932. And that's just after the Napier earthquake.
Wow. And so in that time, 32, things are starting to tighten up. There was a recession on.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
And
if you had no money, you had no shoes, you went barefoot.
wow.
Yeah.
So having a farm sort of saw you through all that.
That's right, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So was there fuel restrictions back then?
No.
So he could still run his truck.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah.
And take the cream. So when did he have to have a license to do this? A good service license.
Yeah.
Wyndham Owen Jenkinson, Kaiawa.
You had to display that in your truck.
Oh, okay. So a route between Kaiawa and Auckland once monthly.
Yeah, this is what Jenkinson had.
Oh, right. So he's bought this from Jenkinson.
Yeah, yes,
Right.
yes.
Route to be via Pocono and back loading from Auckland to consist of goods for Miranda and Kaiawa.
Yeah, that's
Pocono railway station to be Mangatangi,
Yeah.
Miranda and Kaiawa. Was there trains go to Mangatangi?
No, Pocono.
Oh, Pocono,
No,
yes. Between Pocono railway station and Waihihi.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's along the coast.
That's right,
Yes,
yes, yeah.
So it's all spelled out, and if you were caught outside of this or outside
That's
of
right,
ours, you could
that's
get
right.
a fine.
Yes, that's right, yeah, yeah.
Once a month. So he'd have to plan this month, wouldn't he?
Plan
Plan to, you can only go to Auckland once a month, so you'd have to have.
with the truck, yeah.
Yes.
But I think later on, we went we got to once a week. As we used to cart all the goods and for Cashmore's mill at Aururi and the pub at Kaiawa and all residents would get stuff from J. Jones in Auckland and the Farmers Trading Company and all those.
Wow. But just stepping back a bit, it was just interesting that your father worked for J.J. Craig. I actually did a bit of time with J.J. Craig. I drove a little small comma that had a 1.5 yard tray on it, and all the other trucks were 7-ton commas and went everywhere.
Yeah.
And Winston's, they were
Winston's,
going
that's right,
back in the early 1900s.
Yeah, sure. Yes, yeah. Yeah.
Making, turning out stone and sand and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So they're a very old company.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just interesting, folks, that, here's a man that can remember all that. His father was there, and it wasn't too long after that and you were in the business. So when did you start the business?
When we bought Marshall Brothers had a cream contract with the Franklin Dairy Company, and it was for sale, and Dad bought it in 37, was it 1937?
Oh, okay.
It was a Fargo truck, and we replaced that with a new Dodge.
At the time, back then there were restrictions on what you could buy and what you couldn't buy.
No, there wasn't really.
No,
you'd buy anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought there were tariffs, or maybe that came later.
Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah, because at some point along the way we could only buy British. You could buy American, but the tariffs were 75 to 100%. But if you bought English, it was only like 5 to 10% import tariffs.
Okay.
But anyway,
Yeah.
so your Fargo is definitely American, although they did do a Fargo, I think, the Q Dodge people in the UK.
Well, we had a Fargo, and I see in the papers there we changed it to a six-wheeler.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we can't find the photo because we were carting firewood at the time, and yeah.
So you organised to put another axle under the
Yeah, we
lazy
put a
axle.
trailing axle. Yeah. When we sold that, when we sold the Fargo six-wheeler, that's when we bought the Morris Arctic.
Oh, okay.
Low Gear's sponsor is ProTrans Earth Moving. They're a Christchurch-based company and specialise in earth moving and demolition. They also specialise in remote control diggers for those jobs that have an element of danger. And they have a variety of special purpose trucks that can get into those hard to get to places. So if you have an earth moving or demolition job, check out ProTrans at www.protrans.co.nz. On the 4th of November, we'll be leaving from Auckland to begin our 2017 Low Gear bus tour. Come with Linda and me as we travel the North and South Islands of this beautiful country, looking at some of the vehicles and machines you've seen throughout our Talking Trucks and Low Gear TV shows. This is a 2-week vintage and classic adventure, and we conclude this tour on the 18th of November in Dunedin. So if you or someone you know would like the ultimate trip down memory lane, give me a call on 09 536 5327 or email me at billhohepper@extra.co.nz, and for registration and more information just go to our webpage at www.lowgear.co.nz. In association with ProTrans Earth Moving, we're taking registrations for a proposed South Island Mack Truck Run aimed at Labour Weekend, October the 21st through to October the 23rd. The run will be from Christchurch to Invercargill and back. So if you have a Mack truck and like to join us, just go to our webpage at www.lowgear.co.nz for the information, or just email me billhohepper@extra.co.nz.
So that was a 1948 thereabouts, that one, or was it earlier?
About the middle of the war, about 1942 or 3.
Oh, right. In that period as well, the military came and got your truck, and you more or less lost
That
it.
was a bit later on, yes.
Oh, righto.
Yeah.
Did that happen to you?
Yes, the two of them, the two smaller ones, the Chev and the Dodge, were painted army colour, and we had to come into Pukekohe on a Sunday for manoeuvres.
Does that mean they teach you how to drive a
Teach
truck?
you how to drive a truck, that's right, yes. yeah.
And so how did you find the Morris? Reliable?
Yeah, very, very good. I was just thinking the other night, it had one fault, that it had a vacuum tank. And if you were on a long haul with your foot hard to the floor, it would slow up because the petrol wasn't getting there. You had to learn you could feel it slowing off. You had to ease the accelerator.
Like the pump.
We should have put an electric pump on, but we didn't. No, it was very good. Used to take 8 tons of fertiliser quite well. Yeah.
Did it have a 2-speed diff in it?
No.
No, just four gears.
Just, yeah.
Wow. And how did you find the Arctic, and what was the reason for getting an Arctic in the first place?
Well, the reason, George Moore used to drive for Fletcher's, at Fletcher's Transport at Padamahoe, and they had the first Arctic in Franklin, I think. And he said to me one day, I started getting a new truck, well, he said, buy an Arctic because it carries the load so much better.
Oh, okay. Well, sort of spread across 3 axles,
Yeah,
I
it seems
suppose.
to pull the load better, yeah.
Wow. I drove, that's my forte, Arctics.
Oh, yes,
When I was driving trucks, I just drove Arctics most of the time. And I got my licence by accident because the trailer that we were towing at the time, I worked for Ridgeway Circus and towed a lion in a lion cage, and then a caravan on behind there. But this lion cage, suddenly they changed the weights, and this lion cage is now too heavy. You need a heavy trailer licence, as did a lot of other people in the circus and fairground time, so we all ended up in Gisborne, and the cops came, and we all had to back this comma Arctic around a couple of drums and come back, and the next guy you get in and round you go, and in the end they just wrote out all our licenses.
Oh.
Here you go, now you've got a heavy trailer license and you can drive an Arctic. So that's what I did.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was very lucky that when we got the second contract for the cream from Mangatingi Kaiawa to Tuakau, we had dead running. So that's when I bought the half acre at Mangatangi.
Oh, okay, yes.
And we shifted out there, and we got a chap, Tim McLeod, came to work for us. He was single, and when him and I bats, we had a lean-to on the big garage there for a while, and he got married and lived there, and I stopped with him for a little while, and he was the one that kept the business going. He had 2 children and wasn't called up.
Oh, okay.
And he kept the business going until it was sold later on.
So did you buy that? Was that a sort of like a yard for you that at Mangatangi?
It was our depot. Yeah, we bought half an acre and built a big garage and yeah.
And the house, I see there's an old house there now. Is that yours?
Well, that little house, yeah, that's where Bette, my wife and I were married in 43. And it's just about rotten now, but
that's where you
our
live.
first house.
Wow. So then I see in your photographs you've got a Morris commercial bus.
Oh, yes.
So how did that come about?
Well, when we sold the transport business, while we had the transport, there was the hills where the farm is now. It was all in T3 and that, and we bought it, and we decided to go back onto the farm, sell the transport, and when the children were school age, I managed to get the contract for the taking the children to school. Yeah.
So you needed a bus, and that's what you got. Was that already made like that, or did somebody build it?
No. D. McKell Wallace in Newmarket, they built it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they did a wonderful job.
Yeah, it's a good. Yeah, it's a good job. Yes. Yeah.
And you
yeah.
sort of, because last week we were talking about Diamond T buses.
Oh yes.
You know, and they were everywhere. I think even Pukekohe had a Diamond T bus, but the actual bodywork was just, perfect. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Credit to the men who did it.
Yeah. Well, Caverners used to do all the Diamond T buses, and Dad used to get all his springs and that reset and made at Caverners. Yeah. Well, and my uncle and my mother's brother, Douglas Brown, he worked for Caverners. So as a child, I went there into the office and saw him and all the works that went on there.
Yes. Because I think they had a triple click of the pie, because the Diamond T's would come, and then they'd build cabs on them for trucks and then build bodies on them, so they clicked that ticket as well, you know.
That's
so they
right,
sold a Diamond T and they actually built it up for you.
Yeah.
Back in the old days, the boats would come in and around to the Firth of Thames, and there was a wharf there.
Yeah, there was a wharf.
And that's how the supplies came for this area.
No, most of the supplies came into Kaiawa.
Oh, okay.
They had the big long wharf there, and Parry Brothers had the Hairuri, I think it was, that used to come down there. And Ted Ashby used to work for them.
So that wharf was no longer there. When did that disappear?
It was cut down because the Japanese were coming.
Oh, really?
That's why it was cut. Yeah.
So they just chopped.
So they couldn't use the wharf. Yeah.
And never replaced.
Never. No.
You get on with the fuel. During the war years, everybody had to have a coupon to get some fuel.
Yeah,
and a lot of people that we've discovered had a coal burner, gas burner that changed whatever into gas that could run your car.
On the car, yeah.
And they had that sitting in the boot or on the go, or even had a big plastic bag on the top. Some of them, to run their cars during that time. No. Did people in the area have those little gas burners on their machines?
No, I can't recall anyone in the area. I've seen them on the cars, but I don't think anyone. When we had the cream run, the farmers would give us their allocation of petrol, and we used to have 12-gallon drums, and most of them had a 12-gallon license for the month.
Yes.
And we had our own petrol pump and a plume pump.
Yes.
And used to deliver it to them.
So your petrol Bowser, was that you had to pump it up into the glass and then
push
pour
it in. Yeah, that's right.
So
yeah.
you're doing one side and then the other. And,
that's right. Yes.
So
yeah. That's right. Yeah.
we were down in a place called Sutton, which is up in the Southern Alps more or less, and we saw a lady up there whose father run trucks, and he had this Bowser of the same, but it was still in use today. They still used it, to pump up the petrol, pour it into the cars.
Yeah, it's still used.
Still used. It was just amazing. It had two big doors to open up, and everything was there, and the little pump all locked in, all nice.
Yeah.
So Plume, and I think another petrol company was Europa. Did you have anything to do with?
That didn't start until years later, I don't think.
Oh, okay. All right. So
yeah.
So there was Plume. What else was there?
There was Shell.
Yes.
Texaco.
Really?
I think that's about all there was.
The three of them.
Yeah.
So BP, Shell, Caltex, all these ones that we know today weren't heard of.
Have come on later. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. When we sold that, when we sold the Fargo 6-wheeler, that's when we bought the Morris Arctic.
Oh, okay.
Low Gear's sponsor is ProTrans Earth Moving. They are a Christchurch-based company and specialise in earth moving and demolition. They also specialise in remote control diggers for those jobs that have an element of danger. And they have a variety of special purpose trucks that can get into those hard to get to places. So if you have an earth moving or demolition job, check out ProTrans at www.protrans.co.nz. On the 4th of November, we'll be leaving from Auckland to begin our 2017 Low Gear bus tour. Come with Linda and me as we travel the North and South Islands of this beautiful country, looking at some of the vehicles and machines you've seen throughout our Talking Trucks and Low Gear TV shows. This is a 2-week vintage and classic adventure, and we conclude this tour on the 18th of November in Dunedin. So if you or someone you know would like the ultimate trip down memory lane, give me a call on 09 536 5327 or email me at billhohipper@extra.co.nz, and for registration and more information just go to our webpage at www.lowgear.co.nz. In association with ProTrans Earth Moving, we're taking registrations for a proposed South Island Mack Truck Run aimed at Labour Weekend, October the 21st through to October the 23rd. The run will be from Christchurch to Invercargill and back. So if you have a Mack truck and like to join us, just go to our webpage at www.lowgear.co.nz for the information, or just email me billhohipper@extra.co.nz.
Did you have a car?
Yes, I had a car.
What was that?
A Chev Coupe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not something in the 30s or 40s maybe?
No, I just used to use Dad's Wolseley.
Oh, of course. You spent his money before you start on yours.
Yeah.
It's an old married trick.
Yeah.
There's a boat on the back of one of the photographs.
Yeah.
On the back on your Arctic truck.
Yeah.
Where was that going or coming?
I was taking it up to Manukau, I think, somewhere from Kiowa.
Oh, okay. So somebody's bought it and they just need to. But I just see it had an AK and a number. Was it a commercial fishing boat?
It could have been at Kiowa. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's not doing well over there. Let's go and try the Manukau.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
So, no good here either. Take me back to Kiowa.
Yes. Down the Kiowa Road, do you mean?
Yeah, just where that dead boat is. There's a big.
Oh, the quarry.
Yes.
Oh, well, that was the Geisy Goss. It was an old bark that they brought in there and beached it, and they used to have the flying fox with the bucket to the top of the mast.
Yes.
And Bob Cochran used to work that, and he used to use the whole of the boat for holding the metal, and he used to barge it to Auckland, and Parry Brothers bought it and renovated it and put in a proper quarry, and all the Harbour Bridge metal came from there, because it's that hard blue rock metal, not rock metal, but
I know
shingle
what you mean.
metal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that boat didn't actually sort of go there once, oh gosh, we're grounded. It was actually done on purpose.
It was done on purpose. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of the hull is still there.
Yes, I see that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Your Arctic's got a stock crate on it.
Yeah.
Did you build that crate yourself?
We built it. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So you just measured it up and built it on the back, or just built it and then put it on?
Well, we put it on the tray to get the measurements,
Yes.
and then because we were using the truck, and then we had it jacked up and
Yeah. So how did that work? You had two drums at the back.
at the back with
and
a
then you
pipe. Yeah, that's right, and two big poles in the front with an endless chain.
Yeah, that's it. And lift it up a bit, and then you drive it out.
That's
and,
right,
And
yes,
just the reverse coming back in.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
What did that weigh?
Eh?
With the weight of that? Now that you know,
Oh, it wasn't that heavy.
No?
No, we used Oregon pine to build it up.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, yes.
yeah. It wouldn't have been a ton, I wouldn't think.
No. And so because you had stock, you could actually, that 30-mile radius didn't really apply, or did it?
It didn't to start with, but when the war came on, we had to put everything on the railway at Pocono,
Yes.
and we had some fun there sometimes, because the railway trucks were about 2'6" high, and our truck, the back of our truck, was about 3 foot. Anyway, there was a gap, and you're loading lambs at night, and one little bugger would jump out onto the railway line, and you're tearing up and down the railway line trying to catch this lamb.
Yeah. Now, we spoke to a man called Paul Gleason who rebuilt a stock crate from the old recipe. So he's just built one recently. And part of the recipe was you had your ramp, and then the sides that locked into the ramp, so the animals could go up and into your truck. And that just hooked onto the side.
On the side, yes.
Is that what happened with your crate?
No, most of the farmers had all their own ramps.
Oh, so you didn't have to do that?
No, no.
Oh, okay.
No.
So you obviously knew the farmers, I suppose,
Yes,
and having all that. So when you built your crate, you thought, oh, we don't need
No, that's right.
a ramp.
No, yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah.
Did you go up that Coromandel Road at all?
Yes, I used to take the sheep truck and the Arctic over the Tapu Hill to Mercury Bay to Whittianga. Yeah, yeah.
And that's still horrible.
That's right. Yes, yes.
Oh well, it's been a wonderful trip down memory lane, and I was just a baby when you were, sort of in the peak of your career, as were a lot of guys watching the show, I'm sure. But it was just great to be able to go back into that history, and you're the only way that we can actually do that. Listen to what your stories and what have you. So congratulations on your getting up to 97, and 100's not far away, and you're going to get your license to take you right through to being 100. So that's an absolute milestone for you. So thank you very, very much.
Yeah, thank you.
And
thank you, Bill.
it was just there you go, folks. Joshua de Jong and truck driver from yesteryear.
Yeah.